YouTube fam? I'm so excited to get back today with another video. This one is going to be a good one. As always, it's going to be all about what I would personally do if I were to go through a flare-up. I get a ton of questions from you guys asking me how to heal eczema, what to do when there's a flare-up, and so this video really came at the perfect time to answer some of the most common questions from you guys. And so if you want to learn exactly what I would personally do to heal my skin if I were to go through a flare-up, then continue watching this video. Now, as a disclaimer, I just want to put it out here, what works for me will not necessarily work for you, okay? Everybody has their own way of healing their skin. I'm not saying that my way is the way to heal. This is what personally has helped me with my flare-ups, and I've noticed it every single time when I follow these things. It helps me a lot, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to help you. So just have to put it out there. Now, of course, before we dive into today's topic, I have some quick business updates. As you guys might know, I recently launched my new course called From Flaring to Thriving. And if you guys don't know, and this is the first time you're watching my YouTube video, I want to let you guys know that I have a new course to help you heal your skin. This course is basically a 30-day course to help you with your nutrition, with your supplements, with your mindset, and general healing of your eczema. This week is all about root causes, so we're going to dive into the common root causes of eczema, helping the people who are in the group right now figure out the root cause combo and then develop a plan to help them heal those root causes. Now, at the time this video is being released, our call probably hasn't started yet, and so if you are watching this video and you really want to join us in this 30-day course, then send me a DM on Instagram at juliachan.ca. I can sign you up right away so we can get you inside our very first call. Now, that being said, if you watched this video a little bit later and you did miss the signups, that's okay. We're actually going to resell this course at the end of the 4 weeks. That way you can purchase it at your own time and learn from all the things that we talked about in the calls. So you're definitely not missing out because you're going to get all the recordings for each week. You're also going to get the resources and the materials that are going to be a part of the 30-day course. The only thing that you'll miss out is the live coaching that happens at the end of every single call, but that's not to worry. The lessons that you're going to learn inside the course is definitely going to help you with your skin. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's YouTube video. So the very first thing I would do if I were to go through a flare-up is to not panic. Now, the old me going through eczema flare-ups years and years ago, I would always panic on figuring out why I'm flaring. What is it that I did wrong? How is it that I'm flaring despite doing the things to heal me? And I would be creating this stressful energy and be really overwhelmed and frustrated and anxious about my eczema because just trying to figure out exactly what caused it. And so if I were to go through a new flare-up now, what I would do is to really not panic, not always asking why things are happening, and really just letting the flare happen, because sometimes flares happen for a reason and we just have to let it pass. If you panic when you are having a flare-up, you're just adding more cortisol in your body, you're increasing cortisol, which leads to more inflammation and more stress. So you definitely don't want that when you're going through a flare-up. You want to do your best to listen to your body, to take deep breaths, do what you gotta do to calm yourself down, and realize that your flares are not happening against you, they're not happening to you, and this is a mindset shift I have to make in my healing journey, is to think of my flares as happening for me rather than it being against me. And so after I calm myself down and not panic, then this moves on to my next tip that I would do if I were to go through a flare-up, is to really check in on how I'm feeling. I think this is a really big component to healing eczema. It's not just doing random things that are told on the internet or someone else recommended it. It's really listening to your own body and what the signs and symptoms that it's telling you. For example, if I were to go through a flare, I would check in and see, okay, have I been a little more stressed out this week? Have I been drinking too much alcohol this week? Have I just been not sleeping well this week because I've been really busy? Really reflecting on my week, even the week before that, or even the past month, because sometimes when you flare up, it's not just because of the things that happened in that moment or the things that happened in the week, but it could be literally something that happened a month ago, like a stressful event that is now causing your skin to flare up now. So that's what I would do if I were to go through a flare-up, to really listen to my body and check in with myself. I had a recent flare, actually, 2 neck flares that happened a couple months ago, and reflecting back on those neck flares, I definitely was eating the things that I shouldn't have eaten that caused my skin to flare up. I actually drank more alcohol than I used to, and I was honestly just more stressed out. So instead of me panicking of how to heal this flare. I just let it pass, used my mindset to heal, and just took some time to relax, which I'm going to share in my next few tips on what I would further do to help with a flare-up. And the next thing that I would do if I were to go through a flare-up is to quickly review my nutrition. I notice that on days when I don't eat as well, for example, I'm eating more processed food, I'm eating more sugar, I definitely notice my skin a little bit more red, a little bit more itchy the next day. So I want to reflect back on the week to see how my week was. Did I eat more processed food this week? Did I drink more alcohol than I usually do? And then that's when I have a better idea of whether or not the food that I'm eating is affecting me. Now, of course, I want to just put it out there. Food doesn't always impact your skin. Food is not your root cause. Food doesn't always cause you to go into a flare-up. Now, because as I shared earlier at the beginning of this video, this is what has helped me by looking into my nutrition to see if something that I ate might have triggered my flare. Sometimes what I'll notice too, if I don't drink enough water, I'm definitely noticing my skin a lot more dry. If I don't eat enough protein, for example, I definitely feel a little bit more lightheaded and I feel more hungry, and that can cause my blood sugars to go crazy with my body, and then that can lead to an eczema flare-up for myself. I know some of you guys have asked me about how to keep track of your meals and how to really identify whether your meals or food are linked to flare-ups, and it definitely can be really hard. For me, because I don't eat out all the time, I'm typically pretty aware of all my foods that I eat in the week, so I don't really need to record things down into my food diary or anything like that. And typically, for the most part, I don't react to a lot of foods. Only certain things like too much dairy, too much gluten, too much alcohol will definitely flare me. That being said, if you're someone who really needs help with using a tracker to help you identify flares, I do have a YouTube video right here that you can check out. I actually share with you the exact spreadsheet we use inside my program, Clear Your Eczema, that we use to help my clients keep track of their flares, keep track of their meals, and keep track of anything else that could be going on, like their digestive symptoms, stress, and sleep. So definitely check out that video if you haven't already. So now that I didn't panic, review my nutrition, also checked in on how I'm feeling, the next thing I would do if I were to go through a flare-up is to elevate my self-care. So for me, when I do go through a flare-up, I tend to notice it's because I've worked long hours or just generally more stressed. So that being said, elevating my self-care really helps with the healing, and I actually see healing happen a lot faster. So my self-care can be really different from yours, but what I like to do is go for a massage. I love just releasing some of the tension that I have on my back. I tend to have really tense shoulders from sitting at my desk all the time and working long hours. So I'll do a nice full body back massage. Sometimes I'll even take myself to the spa. I'll do a whole massage, whole facial, all the good stuff, and it really helps to reduce my stress levels and make me feel a lot better and feel refreshed. Now, what I also like to do is to do acupuncture. I really like hands-on work when it comes to stress and helping my skin. So massage helps a lot with stress and just moving your lymphatic system. That's what it does, and relaxing your muscles, of course. And then acupuncture has been shown in research to help a lot with eczema. So I go to my very trusted practitioner. She always helps me with my skin when I go through a flare-up, and she also helps me a lot with my stress. So I'll definitely go see her more often when I'm going through a flare-up. Now, at the same time, some of the self-care practices I do by myself at home is definitely journaling, definitely releasing some of the negative thoughts and negative emotions that I'm feeling throughout the week, and writing some positive affirmations to help me get through the week as well. Definitely changes my healing. And when I'm super anxious, like literally when I can feel my stomach churning and feeling my heart beating really fast, I don't know if you feel that way sometimes randomly, I've been getting that lately, I will definitely add in some meditation as well. I'm not a huge person on meditation as I used to be. I prefer journaling, but I'll definitely squeeze in meditation when I'm feeling extra stressed. Moving on to the next thing that I would do if I were to go through a flare-up is to take time off work. Now, because I work for myself, it's a lot easier to take days off, take weeks off when I want to. But if you're someone listening right now and you don't work for yourself and you work for an employer, I think it's still really important to take days off and use those sick days, honestly, because we all know how debilitating and painful it can be to have to put on clothes, get ready, and go to work when you're in a flare-up. So don't feel bad if you need to call in sick for work. And the reason why I say this is because I'm such a people pleaser, you guys. I felt really bad all the time when I had to call in sick for work, even though I wasn't lying, even though my skin literally was like on fire. But for some reason, I had this thought in my mind that my employer would think, or my boss would think, that an eczema flare doesn't warrant a sick day. I don't know why I used to think that, and I think part of it is because people who don't have eczema, they don't really know the challenges and how bad it can get emotionally, physically, when you are going through a flare-up. And so when you tell your boss and your employer that you need to take a day off because of your eczema, I feel that sometimes they're kind of like, but why? Like, it's just eczema, isn't it just, you know, some itchy patches of skin? And that's something I really have to struggle with, just thinking about that in my mind. And what actually helped me with this is being very, very honest with my boss and letting her or him know, or my boss was the lady, let her know how much my skin was impacting me when it was flaring. Even though it can be really hard to be vulnerable and express that to your employer or to your boss, if they know exactly what you're going through, you won't feel as bad calling in sick, right? Because you have a legitimate reason. It's not just a skin flare-up, it's so much more than that. And so being really open with your boss and letting them know what you're going through is important, and that way you can really feel at peace taking time off of work and really relaxing at home. Here's the thing I also want to mention to you as well. You might be wondering, I'm not in a flare-up right now, I don't really need to do these things. Here is a big misconception, is thinking that you don't take care of yourself when you're not in a flare. You always want to be maintaining your skin even when you're not in a flare-up. Whether it is focusing on your self-care, right? Taking some sick days so you can really relax. Maybe you've been overworking yourself and you feel like you're gonna burn out, right? You don't want to get to a point where your skin is already flaring before you start taking action, right? You want to be proactive instead of reactive. And a lot of times people end up being reactive because they don't realize how important it is to focus on relaxation, focusing on self-care before you go into a flare-up. So although the tips I'm sharing with you are things I would do when I go through a flare-up, I'm actually already doing these things before I'm even in a flare-up, because I want to be in a preventative mode, not in a panic mode, not in a reactive mode, because those kind of flares are actually a lot harder to heal because you're already burnt out at that point, because you're already flared, versus you catching yourself before getting to that point. By implementing the tips I talked about today is definitely going to help you a lot more with your healing. And the next thing that I would do if I were to go through a flare-up is to trust the healing process. This is probably the most hardest one I had to really do well with. I feel like in the beginning of my journey, or even the middle of my journey, I really lacked self-confidence and I really lacked self-trust and self-love. Every time I flared, even though I was doing the things like supplements, like nutrition, like self-care, I still lacked that trust piece. I felt like even though I was doing those things, I wasn't doing enough. Comment below if you guys can relate, because I feel that this is also very common in the community as well. Feeling that you have to do more to heal, or feeling that you aren't doing enough. And what I had to realize on my journey to heal my own skin is that the more that I thought that way, the more that I wasn't doing enough, the longer my flare felt and became. What I had to do is to just trust that what I was already doing is enough, and just letting time heal me. We can't ask the universe how. We can't ask the universe when the flare is going to heal. We just have to stay grounded and stay present and just continue being consistent with what you're doing, and then you'll heal. So this is something that I would do if I were to go through a flare-up, is to just trust my body, work on my mindset, and just not doubt myself in this process. Alright guys, I hope you guys found this video helpful on what I would do to heal a flare-up. Now, if you want more help with healing your flare-ups and you're struggling with your diet, struggling with supplements, struggling with mindset, then definitely look out for my course, From Flaring to Thriving. We are currently in week 1 of this course. Once every week is completed and all the recordings are done, then it's going to be packaged into an actual course for you to purchase at any time. So definitely look out for that. I will give you guys lots of updates on it in my next YouTube videos and on my Instagram as well. So definitely stay tuned. Also, if you guys prefer more one-on-one access to me and you prefer not to be in a course, then definitely book a discovery call with me. I am taking clients in my practice and I'd be happy to support you on your healing journey. Before I let you go, make sure you check out my 2 other videos right here because I share more eczema tips. Thanks everyone for watching today's video, and we will see you guys in the next video.